What if the very thing you believe makes you a good parent is actually blocking your child's purpose? What if your care, your love, your discipline, your expectations, your protection, even your plan for your child's future is quietly steering your child away from who your child is designed to be? Stay with me, because this parenting mistake is incredibly common. It's rarely intentional, and almost every loving parent make this mistake at some point. Today I'm talking about one core parenting mistake, a mistake that doesn't just affect behavior but affects identity formation, confidence development, emotional regulation, calling, career alignment, and long-term direction. This isn't about bad parenting. It is about misaligned parenting. And if you are raising children right now, this matters more than grades. It matters more than achievements. It even matters more than good manners. Because a child who behaves well but loses him or herself is not thriving. I've worked with parents, families, children across developmental stages from childhood to adolescence. I have studied child development, temperament theory, emotional intelligence, personality traits, and purpose formation. I have authored 2 books on purpose, and I'm also a parent. So this is not abstract theory. This is lived reality. And I've seen what happens when parents unknowingly block their children's purpose. By the end of this video, you will clearly identify the parenting mistakes, recognize how it shows up subtly in everyday parenting. You will understand how it blocks your child's purpose long term. You will learn how to shift your parenting style without guilt or shame. You will walk away with a framework for purpose-driven parenting. If you want to raise a child who just don't succeed but know who he is, then watch to the end, because what I'm about to discuss can change the trajectory of your child's future. Let's talk about the core parenting mistake. The mistake is this: parenting your child towards expectation instead of parenting towards design. Let that settle. Most parents don't raise children, they raise projects. We parent based on who we wish we had been, what we didn't receive when growing up, what society rewards, what the culture celebrates, what feels impressive, what feels safe. Without realizing it, you begin shaping a child to fit a mold, not a design. There's a difference between a mold and a design. A mold forces, a design unfolds. We impose expectations instead of discovering wiring. We unintentionally silence identity. And identity is the foundation of purpose. So what is design? When I say design, I mean temperament, personality traits, inner strength, natural strength, emotional processing style, learning preferences, motivational drivers, and social wiring. Every child comes wired differently. Some are reflective, some are analytical, some are relational, some are spontaneous, some are expressive, some are structured. None of these are flaws, but when misunderstood, they are often treated like problems. Let me give you a few everyday examples. A naturally reflective child is pushed to be outspoken. A curious, hands-on child is labeled distracted. A creative child is told to be more serious. A sensitive child is told to toughen up. A strong-willed child is labeled rebellious. None of this is abuse. It is misinterpretation. And misinterpretation teaches a child something very dangerous. Who I naturally am is wrong. And when a child internalizes that message, the child begins to edit him or herself. Pause. If this is resonating, comment I see it. Awareness is the first step towards alignment. Now let's talk about why this blocks your child's purpose. Let me take you a bit deeper. Purpose starts as patterns in childhood. Purpose show up early as what energizes your child, how your child solve problems, what your child gravitates towards, how your child process emotions, what your child do without being told. These are not random, they are clues. And when we override those signals, 3 long-term consequences occur. And I will share them with you. The first one, performance replaces identity. When a child's wiring is constantly corrected, the child learns who I am isn't enough. Who I perform as is what gets love. And that's how children grow up into adults who chase approval, fear disappointing others, struggle with imposter syndrome, appear successful but feel empty inside. This is not a motivation issue. It is an identity issue. And identity distortion blocks purpose clarity. The second consequence, self-trust deteriorates. Children are born with intuitive self-awareness. But when instincts are constantly overridden, don't be too sensitive, stop asking so many questions, that's not practical. Children stop listening inward. They begin outsourcing identity. Instead of asking, who am I becoming? They ask, what do you want me to be? And this is the beginning of purpose delay. The third consequence, purpose gets buried, not destroyed. Purpose cannot be erased, but it can be buried. And buried purpose often show up later as rebellion in adolescence, burnt out in adulthood, career dissatisfaction, chronic confusion, midlife identity crisis. And parents say, I don't understand what happened. What happened is misalignment over time. If you are thinking, I wish someone had told my parents this, you're not alone. And now you have the opportunity to shift the story. Now, let's talk about how this parenting mistake shows up daily. Let me make this extremely practical. Because misaligned parent rarely looks dramatic, it looks subtle. Number one, overcorrecting personality. When natural traits are labeled negatively. You are too emotional, you are too slow, you talk too much, you are too quiet. Instead of asking, what does this trait need to mature? Every strength has immature and mature expression. Sensitivity becomes empathy. Talkativeness becomes communication skill. Strong will becomes leadership. Curiosity becomes innovation. The goal is not elimination, it is refinement. Number two, rewarding compliance over critical thinking. Obedience is important, but when compliance becomes the highest value, authenticity suffers. A child who is never allowed to question, struggles with decision making, fears authority, and avoids initiative. Purpose-driven parents raises thinkers, not just rule followers. Number three, confusing control with guidance. Control says, do it my way. Guidance says, let me help you discover your way responsibly. Control produces fear-based obedience. Guidance produces internal clarity. One builds dependency, the other builds maturity. Number four, comparison is identity erosion. Why can't you be like your sister? Your cousin already knows what she wants. Comparison tells a child your design is inferior, but purpose is never discovered through comparison. It is discovered through observation. Take a deep breath. Awareness is not condemnation. It is course correction. If this conversation is shifting how you see parenting, then subscribe. Now let's look at the long-term cost. Let's talk about the outcomes. Children raised away from their design often become adults who feel disconnected from themselves. They struggle to identify their strengths. They choose careers based on pressure. They stay in environments that drains them. They fear disappointing others. They struggle with confidence. They are capable but misaligned. And misalignment feels like constant friction. Alignment begins at home, and your child does not need more pressure. Your child needs permission to be seen, understood, studied, and stewarded. What's the shift that restores purpose? Now the solution. You don't need a complete or total parenting overhaul. All you need is a lens shift. Now, the first shift, from shaping to observing. Become a student of your child. Observe how your child plays, how your child leads, how your child responds to correction, how your child processes conflict, and what energizes your child. Observation precedes direction. The second shift, from fixing to interpreting. Instead of asking, how do I correct this? Ask, what is this revealing to me about my child? Behavior is communication. You must interpret it before you intervene. The third shift, from ownership to stewardship. You are not the designer, you are the steward. Your role is not to decide your child's destiny. Your role is to create an emotionally safe environment where identity can emerge. This is purpose-driven parenting. This is discipline without damaging identity. This is alignment over control. This is why I wrote my book, I Find the Unlost Purpose. Because too many parents love deeply, but operate with wrong parenting framework. This book will walk you through identifying your child's unique wiring, understanding temperament and personality, discipline without damaging identity, creating a home environment that sets purpose, raising confident, self-aware children. If you have ever said, I don't want to mess this up, I wrote this book for you, and the link is in the description. Let me leave you with this. Your child is not unfinished. Your child is unfolding. Purpose is not something you install. It is something you protect. The greatest parenting success is not raising impressive children. It is raising aligned children. Children who know who they are. Children who grow into adults with clarity, confidence, and calling. If you found value in this video, then watch my next video.